Well, I was living at Mount Holly, North Carolina, and I enlisted. wasn't too many jobs around, and I knew I would have never got to see any of the world. And I noticed a lot of my friends were joining the military, so I decided that that would probably be a good prospect for me to join, and that way I could see some of the world, get a paid check, and serve my country. I wasn't too physically fit at the time, and it was kind of hard. I was about to go through the boot camp a second time because I couldn't do those monkey bars. My hands were too soft. I had never really done any hard work at the time. And when the drill sergeant said, Rankin, said, if you don't pass, you're gonna be over there with them logs on your shoulder. So I jumped on and done the amount of bars that I had to do to pass. And he looked at me and he said, you just lazy. But overall in all, I had a great time in boot camp. It showed me a lot of direction. It disciplined me, you know, and it taught me some skills to survive, and I'm thankful for that. My first duty station was in Gießen, Germany. I met a lot of friends there. Fellows used to say, they're from a plowboy from North Carolina. They all thought we were behind times. And but as time went on, we all became real close and became real friends. And we laughed together. We cried together. Some of them didn't make it. You know, they couldn't handle the discipline. And a lot of them were discharged. You know, and but I met a lot of friends, and it was something that I would have never done if I hadn't joined the military. I never got to see Germany. Probably wouldn't got outside of North Carolina except for South Carolina. So I'm so grateful for that. And I had a really good experience on that first duty station. Well, they always had something to do on post. You had your EM club, you had your officers club you could go to, and they would have concerts, you know, and they would. We would, you know, play tag football, and you know, at that time you didn't really have the internet or too much to do. You know, a lot of us guys hung out, went sightseeing, and you know, we kept in touch for a while. And then slowly it wore out. It wasn't like it was now where you could get on a cell phone, call up and say, what's going on, my friend? You know, it was basically you either had to write. I wasn't much on letter writing at the time, or phone calls. Every now and then some of them would call me. Well, as a matter of fact, I go down to Tampa, down to Florida, and I was in a grocery store at the Winn-Dixie. This was about 2 years ago, and I kept looking at this guy, and I said, I know this guy. I know him. And I went and spoke. I said, aren't you Fuller? And he looked around. He said, Rankin. And he was one of the guys that at my first duty station in Gießen, Germany. And he was my sergeant at the time. And but he hadn't changed much, but I had changed a whole lot at first, and then he got to put, and then he said, "Hey, Battery 6 and the 9th Field Artillery," you know. And I told him, "Yeah, that just right, that's me." So we kind of stay in touch now, you know, through Facebook and Messenger and everything. It was good to see him. It was good to see him. Well, my father, He served in World War II, but he never said anything about it. I don't know where his mindset was on that. But if we hadn't been rambling around as kids doing the room, we'd have never seen the pictures that he had, or some of the medals that he had. And as I can say back before, about the only thing we'd hear every now and then was about the Queen Mary, when they would come in on the Queen Mary. But but I guess because when they come home, they didn't get big parades. They didn't, when they come into New York, they didn't get to march up in the cities with the rest of the troops. They had to be marched in the back through the ghettos and stuff. They wasn't in the processions for the victory. I want to give a thanks to all the black veterans that fought in all American wars when they wasn't even treated like Americans. It saddens my heart to think that, but they persevered on and fought anyway, even though they were treated less than a human being. But they still fought on for this great country. And when they went to Germany, the German soldiers were treated better than the black American soldiers. Even the Germans couldn't understand. But I want to give a shout out to all of my comrades that I served with. All these veterans from Mount Holly that sacrificed so much for this country. And for all the other nationalities that served in this time. And I have one more thing to say, and then I'm going to leave you with this. Right now, at this time, we're going through a lot of turmoil. And we can't survive divided. We have to come together as a nation and as people. We are not black America. We're not white America. We're not Asian America. We are Americans. Until people, if not only for your kids, that's what people don't understand. We got to leave America intact for the next generation to live. We got to leave this hatred behind. So we got to get on one accord. We got to put love within our hearts. And with that, I close with you today. God bless America.